Do me a favor for this video and don't assume that I hate Call of Duty, and instead know that I'm just a concerned Call of Duty fan trying to make commentaries that are entertaining for people. Not that complicated.
Modern Warfare is a very consumer-friendly shooter. In the AAA market, not having a season pass, only charging for cosmetics, and giving away stat change weapons for free, with a bit of grinding required of course, but even out of season weapons can be acquired with some grinding. And on top of that, everything for multiplayer or Warzone is given to everybody on the same day. The only thing that PlayStation gets is Spec Ops Survival Mode and some cosmetics. And crossplay brings a lot of people together. Whether your friends are on PlayStation or PC, they can play with you, and I really enjoy that. I think it's restoring a lot of trust in Activision, which is weird to say, but they're squandering it. At the same time that they're making this game very consumer friendly, not being shady and predatorial at all when it comes to how they're monetizing the game and releasing content. That newly earned scrap of trust is being squandered by Infinity Ward and Activision, and yes, some of the things you're going to hear me say have been said before, but I still thank you for making me a part of your free time while I say them. Because Infinity Ward has been stealth changing things, the player base has just been uneasy. Infinity Ward will change something and not include it in the patch notes. They will update something, nerf something, buff something, fix something, and you'll never know. Now I understand fixing exploits without letting people know because you don't want people to look for those exploits, so silently fixing out-of-map glitches or problems where guns can deal more damage due to a certain bug, maybe keep that under wraps. But changing how certain stocks work, how certain attachments work, just in general, changing damage models, buffing and nerfing weapons, adding things and then not reporting it, it really makes the player base feel uneasy because they don't know if the game is changing every time they get a playlist update. People start second guessing their kills and their deaths. They're like, did the M4 get a nerf or a buff? Did the AK get a change? I don't know. Why am I dying by this gun all of a sudden? People are unsure of the game they're playing because it's constantly changing or has constantly changed behind the scenes. Stealth changes really put a wall between the community and the developers. We really feel like we're being lied to, and we feel like we're not supposed to look behind the curtain, and that is not going to build trust. Also, at the same time, Activision is controlling the matchmaking systems in Call of Duty, at least according to Michael Condrey. Activision controls the matchmaking system. And while that makes some sense, it did seem like more of a marketing thing than a design thing, and it would make sense that Activision would have their hand in it. We have people from Infinity Ward saying there's no skill-based matchmaking in Warzone, and then people like Exclusive Ace going and testing it, and pretty much outright proving it that there is definitely skill-based matchmaking in Warzone. Every bit of trust they gained from being very consumer-friendly and upfront with how they're charging things, and yes, some of their microtransactions are overpriced, and yeah, it takes a while to get to the end of the battle pass, but at the end of the day, those are cosmetics, and nobody is entitled to them. Those cosmetics show dedication and support for the game. They really don't need to be in your inventory just because you happen to play it. I'm sorry, you're not entitled to cosmetics. If you're not willing to pay or play, you're not going to get them. Luckily, the weapons are very obtainable for anybody. I've seen people describe Modern Warfare's monetization systems as a scam. No, being upfront about the cost and how long it takes to earn something is not a scam. If you happen to pay for something you don't like, that doesn't automatically make it a scam.
If you purchased the Battle Pass and weren't able to make it all the way through, you weren't scammed. That's not how that works.
Between last season and this season, I already have enough COD points for Season 4's Battle Pass. I don't even have to spend a dime of my own money if I don't want to. They didn't need to put COD points in the Battle Pass, they did anyway, and it was a nice, really nice addition. But you know what the problem is? Every time I go on a little bit of a tangent about how nice that is, I always get a comment about, yeah, none of that matters because of skill-based matchmaking. And yeah, between the shady nature of skill-based matchmaking and how they're very, very unclear about how it works and they won't just come out and talk about it or remove it like it's being constantly requested since 2014, yeah, it's frustrating. So any bit of trust that Activision gains through being a half-decent company for once is being squandered by Infinity Ward's unwillfulness to be transparent in Activision's own shady matchmaking system. And those decisions make Modern Warfare into a pretty good Call of Duty game, a good, solid Call of Duty game, not a great Call of Duty game. They must really have the numbers to show that skill-based matchmaking helps player retention and keeps the game alive and keeps people from rage quitting. They must have those numbers somewhere, because otherwise the overwhelming amount of people that want it removed would be listened to. But here's where I want to cap this commentary off. Here's like the big smoking gun of this whole thing for me. They were making billions of dollars on supply drops, and how they were monetizing the game when it came to microtransactions. From Advanced Warfare to Black Ops 3 through Infinite Warfare and COD World War II and Modern Warfare Remastered and Black Ops 4, they were making billions of dollars on RNG loot that could be purchased for real money. And that's not even mentioning Overwatch. And the fact that before Modern Warfare's release, Activision came out and said, we're not doing that this year. We have a much more consumer-friendly, awesome system that we hope you guys love, and I personally do love it. And on top of that, removing the Season Pass. So no Season Pass, no random supply drop bullshit to get weapons, and just a really straightforward, clean, consumer-friendly system is born, everyone loves it, but they were making so much money, and yet they did this thing for what is, in my opinion, a wholesome gesture to the community. And maybe that's ignorant on my part, but I think it was a wholesome, smart thing to do for the community, something that builds trust, at the expense of the money they could have earned by monetizing that game in the same way. Unless they just noticed that RNG loot wasn't making money anymore because people were mad about it, and that's why they changed it, that's more likely. But for me, I still think that a big part of it was, we need to be nice to our player base or they'll leave. And I like that thought. But here's the smoking gun for me. Here's the part that really irritates me. They got rid of this system that was making them millions and billions of dollars. They got rid of random RNG loot, expensive random RNG loot, and traded it for a system where you could just go buy Modern Warfare on sale and then get it. You'd have every map, you'd have every mode, you'd have everything. And then you can just get the guns every season by grinding 31 tiers in the Battle Pass, which is not a crazy amount of playtime, especially for 2 stat change weapons. It's less time than what I had to put in to get 1 gun in Modern Warfare Remastered, so that should tell you something. So they traded that system for this new system, and it's so nice, but they won't remove skill-based matchmaking. They won't do another one of their Activision blog posts where they say, hey guys, we hear that you don't like skill-based matchmaking, so we're going to make matchmaking entirely connection-based, and for new players, we will be adding a bootcamp playlist for people that are under level 50. You see what I mean? They were willing to get out in front of the loot box controversy and be like, we're not doing that. We don't want to hurt our community. We don't want to be dragged through the mud verbally over the decisions we're making. We're going to give up all of this potential cash, put all of our microtransaction resources into cosmetics that are entirely optional, but we're not going to just turn off skill-based matchmaking. That's what I want to know. What numbers are they looking at? And we won't know. The trust is being squandered. It is unsure whether or not skill-based matchmaking is there because they have numbers to prove that it works, if it's their game design philosophy, or, you know, what if it's really not there in the way we think it is and it's all a placebo and everybody in Call of Duty's too damn sweaty now? And you might say, boom, no, there's evidence. No, there is evidence for sure, but there is not insurmountable evidence. Okay, there are not official claims. The only official claim we have has been proven wrong by a member of our community. When Pat Kelly says, I'm pretty sure that's his name, there's no skill-based matchmaking in Warzone, an Exclusive Ace, lowly Canadian YouTuber, says, yeah there is, I just found it in these matches, going over hundreds of players worth of data, the trust is squandered. So that's my smoking gun. They were willing to ditch loot boxes of all goddamn things, to ditch paid weapons. They could have charged us for these weapons. You might think, well, they don't want loot boxes because, you know, they don't want the government down their backs in case, you know, loot boxes become illegal or some shit. That's why Black Ops 4 is straightened up as well. Okay, maybe that's why. But they could have put a price tag on these weapons. They could charge you, you know, 1,000 COD points for each new gun. Maybe 500, so you'd have to spend 10, but no, they made them free. Playtime, or if it's out of season, a simple challenge. A tedious challenge for sure, but a simple one. So I'm done beating a dead horse, I'm done beating the same drum. In conclusion, I'm mad. In conclusion, it doesn't make sense for them to do this amazing pro-consumer thing for the community at the expense of actual money, but not remove skill-based matchmaking. And also Infinity Ward's lack of transparency and openness when it comes to what they're actually doing in the game. So yeah, the truth is blurred and the trust is squandered. I'm just trying to cement this. I'm not trying to pad the video out for 10 minutes. In fact, I'm not even gonna let it get to 10 minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.